Did you ever encounter difficult judges or obstreperous opposition
I would say 90% of the time.
So despite all the lengths you would go to, sometimes you could be derailed, if you like, by someone who is more ignorant than you claim yourself to have been.
Oh, there's no question of that. It's often difficult to convince judges who've got a closed mind. It's hard to do that. The only way you can do it is by demonstrating beyond argument the incorrectness of their preconceived attitudes. It's very hard to do. And I can recall, one judge who stands out as one of the most irascible judges anyone ever appeared before, I think, Justice Martin. He was a very good judge as a lawyer, but a very difficult man. He seemed to give the impression that he had a bad temper barely under control. And I recall once on what we used to term facetiously Weeper Day, when a number of pleas of guilty were dealt with, sentences on the spot as they used to be then, and I was appearing for a man on a bigamy charge. About 8 cases were listed, and a case a couple ahead of me was a bigamist who had married 2 women, and Martin sentenced him to 6 months. I came on a couple of cases later. My client had married 3 women, or gone through the former marriage with 3. Martin snorted at me. He said, "You're telling me that I should deal with your client more leniently because he's wronged 3 women instead of 2. And then, as I often found, Willie Shakespeare came to my lips unbidden with an apt quotation. I said to him, looking him in the eye, 'Your Honour, didst thou but know the inly touch of love, thou wouldst as soon go kindle fire with snow as seek to quench the fire of love with words.' He snorted at me again and gave him a bond. I've found Shakespeare has been very helpful to me in many cases.
I understand that some opposing counsel friends of yours also like Shakespeare, and sometimes the two of you would engage in a bit of Shakespeare duelling in court.
Woodsie Lloyd comes to mind, the late Woodsie Lloyd, who has a QC, and he died very prematurely from cancer. He had a great sense of humour, and we matched a bit. Sometimes judges didn't approve of the way we went on, but often they did and joined in. And I recall once appearing before the full court on appeal, seeking custody for grandparents of a child whom I suggested would be better off in the custody of the grandparents than being handed over to either of 2 undeserving parents, and the child didn't deserve either of them. And I said to the judges, there were no women judges then, I said, "Your Honours, we're all grandfathers. We know the value of an extended family to a grandchild." Woodsie Lloyd jumped to his feet and he said, "Your Honours, if my learned friend is going to give expert evidence as a grandfather, I reserve the right to give evidence as a grandson." Well, that almost blew me off my feet and convulsed everyone in laughter. And against Woodsie, you always had that problem.